All right. Hello, everybody. I think this is the first time I'm doing this on my desktop, so I'm just kind of figuring it out. Let me just click around here and see what's happening.
All right. Hello,
Don't need
everybody.
that. That's a duplicate. Okay. So, yeah, we're getting set for another episode of Let's Talk Sex Tuesdays. I'm in my new studio. Hopefully the internet connection is okay and my computer fan is not too loud for you. I'm still decorating, so we've got some lovely pine siding behind me. Let's all just take a deep breath and land. I was just madly creating a landing page for you and lost track of the time. So here we are. Time flies when you're doing stuff you love. Yeah, let's see who's here. Give me a share, a comment, a hello if you're around. Hi, Mom. Moms are the best, aren't they? All right. So let me just pour out my water here and we'll get started. Lots of love. Yes, always the love. So today we are talking about vaginas, big surprise, and vulvas too. But what I want to talk about is your vagina a friend or a foe? What does your relationship with your vagina look like? Why does that matter? And how can you change it if it's not feeling like a relationship that's serving you? And I think where I want to start today is just by sharing a little bit of my own story, which is, I've talked about it before. I definitely struggled with my sexuality throughout my life, especially in my 20s. We're all fumbling around trying to figure things out. And I really struggled with orgasm, which I'll talk about in another video. But I spent about a year pretty much in all-out war with my vagina. So I was constantly at the gynecologist trying to figure out what was going on. Stuff was coming out of me, smells were happening, pain was happening. I was getting like burning sensations when I was having intercourse. I thought I had vulvodynia. I would go, the doctors were like, you're fine, we don't know what's wrong with you. All of the tests are coming back negative. And I was just getting so worked up. And I was getting to this point where I was like, vagina, like, what is going on? I hate you. You're not there for me. You're letting me down. When I'm trying to have sex, you are not cooperating. Like, what is going on, girl? And so we were just at war. We were not cooperating. We were not working together. We were not supporting one another. And what that meant, in a very literal sense, was from a health perspective, I am not feeling comfortable in my body. I am paranoid about discharge. I am paranoid about how I smell. I am so nervous about people going down there. I'm constantly in the bathroom, like trying to figure out what's going on. I'm feeling anxious and nervous. Even just outside of the bedroom, right? When something's going wrong with your body and you can't figure it out, this has an impact on your day-to-day life, right? Especially if things are hurting. In bed, obviously, this means I'm having a really hard time relaxing. I'm feeling nervous about people going down there. I'm feeling nervous it's going to hurt, and then it is hurting. All of those things which are leading to not a fun time. Like, it's pretty hard to relax into pleasure, to really have a great orgasm, to really have a nice time when, again, you're locked in your head, feeling all this fear and anxiety, and your body's not cooperating with you. And especially if you're feeling adversarial, you're like, come on, vagina, okay, like, we're doing this thing, we're gonna go hang out with this person, it's supposed to be a fun time, like, let's make this happen, right? And it took me a really long time to realize that I was creating a lot of negative energy there. I was basically trying to drag somebody along who was telling me in not unclear language that she was not willing, not interested, not excited. And I wasn't listening to her. I was totally ignoring what she was telling me. I was basically saying like, shut up, girl, let's go do this. And she was being very clear and getting louder and louder and louder the more I ignored her. So I was in a very negative relationship with my vagina. She was not my friend. She was my enemy. She was not even my frenemy. Like, I was fully hating on her, fully feeling a ton of emotions. I was feeling let down. I was feeling disappointed. I was feeling frustrated. And I was not approaching this from the right perspective. I basically was doing this like, I'm right. I know what's happening. Screw you and your opinions and your ideas. They don't matter. And that was not working for me. Obviously, it was having an impact in my life from a health perspective, from a mental health perspective, and also on my sex life, right? So often people can find themselves in this situation for lots of different reasons, right? We can have all kinds of relationships with our vaginas. Some of us may have had a really negative first period. Maybe we didn't get taught a lot about it. Maybe we've experienced a lot of pain and cramping every month. And so our period, our vaginas have just been this thing that we have dreaded and hated our entire lives. And so there's a bit of frustration and, adversariness there, especially if we experience a lot of PMS. Maybe you're like me and you didn't quite understand your vagina, didn't quite understand what she needed. Maybe you had a partner who kind of rushed you, didn't understand kind of how to warm things up, and you weren't advocating for yourself because you didn't know how to warm things up. I mean, lack of awareness and knowledge is just a huge piece that can contribute to this. Never mind all of the things societally that are happening to tell us that our vaginas are these shameful, indecent, dirty, stinky, immoral things, and that we shouldn't have relationships with them and we shouldn't be interacting with them. And of course, many of us have experienced trauma of all kinds, all shapes, all varieties, and that can really put us in a place of heavy, heavy emotion about that relationship with our vagina. So no matter where you are coming to this, kind of video with or to this place with, it's all okay. Honor where you're at. This is just an invitation to start to think about what is happening with this relationship for you and how it's impacting your life in both positive and negative ways. I mean, some of us have had a really wonderful introduction to our vagina and we've had really great pleasure, and she's our partner in adventure, and we've had these amazing moments together. We really work together. We listen to each other. Many women have that experience as well. And if you do have that experience, like, please share. Let us know, how you got to that space, what's been working for you. And if you haven't and you want that, then let's talk a little bit about how you can get there, right? So your relationship with your vagina is so important for so many different reasons. I could go on forever, but the main piece of this for me is that your vagina is a part of you, and you have the right to love all of yourself, your whole self. And your vagina is kind of like this storehouse of your power in a lot of ways. And in particular, she's the storehouse of your femininity, whatever that looks like for you, your womanhood, whatever that looks like for you, your power of creation, your desire, your zest for life, like who you are is seated in your vagina. And if you have this adversarial negative relationship, you're not just judging your vagina, like you are judging your whole self or big pieces of yourself. And that means you can't shine your light on the world. You can't be who you're fully meant to be. Also, if you're in this adversarial relationship, you are not listening. And your vagina is telling you things all the time about what she wants, how she wants to be treated, how she wants to be interacted with. And if you listen and take those cues, you're going to make her much happier. And that means way more pleasure in the bedroom, different orgasms, new orgasms, all kinds of different experiences. And when you know how to listen to your vagina, you know how to tell other people how to listen to your vagina. So there's layers and layers and layers here, but your vagina is the seat of your power, right? Are you hating on your power, or are you connected and loving on your power? These are deep questions that have huge ripple effects into our whole life. Okay, I want to keep this short and sweet today, so I want to talk about a couple things that you can do to shift that relationship. So if your relationship is not in a place where you want it to be, maybe you're hating on your vagina, maybe she just doesn't even exist for you. Maybe you just kind of locked her away in the closet. You don't think about her very much. You know, you stick a tampon in there once a month and sort of move on. What's that doing for you, right? It might not seem obvious. It might not be the same as this like crazy rage or being at war with her, but what does a neutral or non-existent relationship mean for you? Are you numb to some things? Have you turned some stuff off there? What can you explore, right? So how can we recalibrate that relationship? So there's a couple things that I think we can do. And one is quite simply to, you know, in a brain-based way, if that's where you're really comfortable, start to think about what your relationship with your vagina has looked like. And I have a tool I'm going to share at the end of the video that you can download to help you do just that. So think about, what has your relationship with your vagina been like? What have been the highs? What have been the lows? How did you meet her? How often do you guys visit? And I always like to kind of equate this to, you know, we're not always equaling, you know, men and women's sexuality or bodies with penises and bodies with vaginas, but people with penises, like, they have an automatic relationship with that part of their body, like from birth. They touch it multiple times a day to go to the bathroom, like, and look at it and see it. When they are aroused, they are erect. Like, it's pretty hard to ignore what's going on there. And for women, our vaginas are actually inside of our bodies, so we can't even like see them actually. Our vulvas are on the outside, but I always like to joke it takes an army of lights and an army of mirrors to like actually see what's going on down there. And then you got to open stuff and move things around. Like, it is a whole process. You need like next level gymnastic skills to actually have like just a physical relationship with your vagina. So what does that look like? Have you ever even tried to look at it, or has it been a while? And even if you did look at it, have you seen it at different states of arousal? Do you know how the colors change when you're sort of turned on to like full-on orgasming? Even when we are aroused, right? We may lubricate, we may not. Still a very internal thing. So our bodies aren't even designed for us to have a very like natural relationship with that part of us. So I know it sounds kind of cliche, but like really step one would be like, can you look at her? And if that feels like too much, can you just once a day, a couple times a week, it's like take your hand, stick it on your vulva, on your body, put some pressure there, and just take a deep breath and say, hi, hey man, hey dude, hey dudette, what's up? What's going on? And just get quiet and listen. So step number one, tool number one is to like practically and physically come into contact with your vagina. Place your hand there when you're in the shower. Even if you got clothes on, that's cool. Look at it if you can. Get out a mirror, get some lights, find a position that's comfortable, say hello, or just consciously, mentally start to bring some attention to that part of your body. The second piece really is, if you're wanting to go a little bit deeper, is to visit that part of your body a little bit more. And this means masturbation. I know that that word is so loaded. We have lots of stuff going on around that word. Some of us might have some positive associations with it. Others may feel like it's dirty, like it's gross, like it's taboo, like it's wrong, like it's cheating, like it's, you know, immoral. We have so many negative judgments around touching that part of our body because it brings us pleasure. So an invitation to reframe there, I guess, is, you know, do you feel comfortable touching your shoulders? Do you feel comfortable touching your hands, your feet, your head? Do you feel comfortable bringing pleasure to those parts of your bodies, massaging your feet and your hand and just enjoying how that feels? Getting a really good scalp massage. I love scalp massages. How does that feel? Why is it different to touch your vagina? Notice what comes up for you. Why is it different to touch your vagina? Is it because the quality of the pleasure is different? What messages are coming up for you? Why is it different to touch your vagina? To stroke it, to let it feel nice, right? So that next piece is to just touch your vagina. You don't even have to think about it as masturbating, right? We are just touching our vagina. We are just massaging our vagina. We are allowing that part of our body to receive touch. The muscles in your vagina and your vulva are the same as the muscles in the rest of your body. They need touch. They need love. They need to be stretched sometimes. They need to be worked out. They might have some knots in them. They might feel a little numb. They might feel a little tender. They need some love. Give them some love. You don't even have to think of it as a sexual thing. You don't have to turn your mind on to some porno reel you usually go to. It's totally okay to just sit back and feel, what does my hand feel like on my vulva? Think of it as like one hand massaging another hand. Your hands massaging your feet. That's a really great starting point. And when you're doing it, the invitation here is to really try to open up a dialogue. Introduce yourself to your vagina or reintroduce yourself to your vagina. Ask her what she's looking for today. Ask her how she's feeling. I think we have this misconception or this idea that our vaginas are kind of like, we're going to discover them one time and that's it. We're done. Sweep. But your vagina changes your entire life. Your vulva changes your entire life. And women in particular, right? Like puberty is a huge shift, obviously. Getting your period is a huge shift. Having a baby, if you've had a baby, is a huge shift. Going through menopause is a huge shift. If you've been through any kind of ovarian or like cancer in that part of your body, gaining weight, shifting, changing weight, all of those things are going to have an impact on what your vagina physically looks like, how it responds to being touched, how it responds to pleasure, how it's feeling, if it's cranky or not. And we can't just assume that what our bodies wanted yesterday is what they want tomorrow. Like, they shift, they change, just like we do. And so we need to check in every time, every day, and just see, what is my body looking for today? How does she want to show up today? So that's kind of what we've talked about today. Give me some questions, give me some comments if you want. Basically, your vagina matters. Your vulva matters. She is the seat of so much power and amazingness for you. I'd love for you to think about what your relationship looks like today, what pieces of it are working and what pieces of it are not working, and you can start in your head with that. I'd love for you to start connecting with your vagina in a non-sexual way, just putting your hand down there, touching it, saying hello. And if you want to go even further, start to touch her. Start to ask her what she wants. Begin a dialogue. How that has shifted things for me, obviously, is, I'm not perfect at it yet. This is an ongoing thing, but I am much better at tuning in and going, hey, are we into this today? Are we into this right now? That's not a yes, but this is a yes. Okay, cool. So I am way better at setting boundaries and negotiating what's going to feel good for me right now. That translates into my sex life and into my regular life. Obviously, well, sorry, not obviously, but I have no longer experiencing vulvodynia or symptoms of, I no longer experience burning sensations. I am no longer at the gyno all the time. I have finally let go of worrying about discharge and stinking and like whatever is going on. I tune in with my vagina. I ask her what is going on. I ask her what she's needing. And sometimes it's sexual stuff and sometimes it's not sexual stuff, right? She is my connection to my intuition, to my pleasure, to what it is that I'm looking for in life. And that relationship has really shifted many, many things for me. So if I've got you curious, I want to share with you a download that can help you to start this process. If you head to thehappyvaginaproject.com/happyv, happy me story, you can download my Happy V, Happy Me story mapping worksheet. And what that is a bit of a guided reflection process to open up the dialogue with your vagina and start to have this conversation. So head to the happyvaginaproject.com. I will write it in the comments here. happyvaginaproject.com/happy me story. Download the worksheet and send me an email. Let me know what's coming up for you. Let me know what you've explored. Let me know what has worked for you. If you have gone from a time where you were hating on your vagina and you've managed to shift things and make it work, I want to know. I want to see how it's working for you. Let's change the world together by loving ourselves, our whole selves, and shining our whole light onto the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. Share this far and wide if you are finding it. I am going to pop over onto Instagram and redo this video there. Mwah. Much love to all. We will see you next Tuesday for our next installment of Let's Talk Sex Tuesdays. Catch you later. Bye.